Mr. Trump! We vote for Mr. Trump! Yes! Mr. Trump! We love you! We love you! All the way to the White House!
Never been harassed by Border Patrol on this side of the border like this. This is outrageous.
Why are we not allowed to be here? Because we're not white? Our skin doesn't match?
That's George Doylis. He and his wife are from Imperial Valley, and they love to camp. So when they were headed up to a dental specialist in North County on Wednesday, they decided to explore Jacumba and this area around Boulevard. They headed up this road to see if they could find a campsite, and that's when they say their day took a very different turn.
We didn't think anything of it. We're an American citizens. We're on U.S. soil. Why should we be afraid?
So you know what really hurts? The first time that you recognize that no matter how good you are, no matter how honest you are, no matter how much trouble you stayed out of, you're simply not good enough because you're not like them. Who is them? Them is that small percentage of MAGA-minded folks.
Because you do U-turns and there's a known alien out in the area.
He told the agents where they were going and that they did not consent to any search.
If you have a dentist appointment, it probably wasn't the best decision to be out in the middle of nowhere.
No, we have the right to travel anywhere we want to travel.
Right, you do. You're absolutely right, you do. And I actually have the right and authority to stop you.
Sure, you know what? The conservative agenda, it actually fits a lot more people than we want to agree to. But no matter how much that agenda fits us, you will never be one of them.
You have the right and authority to stop you.
The couple sat in their car as the agents brought a canine.
It's called reasonable suspicion.
Do you think that they had reasonable suspicion to stop you and search your vehicle?
Not at all. Not at all.
The dog did smell a small amount of legally purchased cannabis, so they got out for a full search. 30 minutes in, the agent says he could take their vehicle, but
I'm going to go ahead and let you off with a warning.
George and Esmeralda both voted for the first time in 2020 and again in 2024 for President Donald Trump. As they see his immigration crackdown, do you regret your vote?
Yes, I do. Very much so. I feel shame, guilt, and anger at the same time.
Latinos for Trump.
Latinos for Trump keep dropping like flies. This is Roberto Mosquera. See what I did there? A Cuban immigrant who is a self-proclaimed super Trump supporter who was recently deported not to Cuba, but to Africa. Check out this video.
Man who immigrated to the U.S. from Cuba when he was 9 is on a hunger strike while in Africa, hoping to get the attention of the man he once supported.
He was very pro-Trump, super Trump supporter.
Monica Mosquera's dad was taken by ICE
a couple days before Father's Day.
Her father, Roberto, went for an annual check-in with immigration agents back in June and was taken into custody. But instead of being deported to his native Cuba, the 58-year-old is one of at least 5 men sent to a maximum security prison in the Kingdom of Eswatini over the summer, a small country in Africa criticized for alleged human rights abuses.
You know it's bad when even Cuba doesn't want you. Cuba was like, nah, we don't want him either. And once again, this is to all Latino for Trump supporters. They do not care about you. You will never be accepted by them. You are expendable to them. But then again, you play silly games, you get silly prizes. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
Beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that he was not going to touch the documented people.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Echo Room Vibes. I appreciate every one of you for watching, reflecting, and keeping these conversations alive. And as always, shout out to the originators and stitches of the video that inspired today's discussion. Your voice keeps this dialogue honest. Now, let's talk about something raw that's been bubbling under the surface for a while. MAGA Latinos, who are now openly regretting their votes, because what we are witnessing is more than just political regret. It's an identity reckoning. So let's just dive into the rest of the video and we'll be back for more commentary.
To the Latinos that voted for him, you will never, and I repeat, never be white. you will never be accepted as one of them. And you certainly are not exempt from the racism that is this racist ass regime. When that lady put in her post, alligators' lives matter, and she mentioned a number, that number being 65 million. Do you know how many Latinos are in the United States? Approximately 65 million, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Approximately 60 plus million people. So guess what? They weren't just talking about the illegal immigrants, because data actually says that there are 10 to about 12 illegal, undocumented folks in the United States. They're talking about you. They're talking about people like us, because we are not exempt from the racism that is rooted in what these people believe in, and frankly, the foundation of this country that was built on the stealing of land from indigenous people by immigrants that came here from Europe. So when you think that you are better than an immigrant because your family came here the right way, remember that this land was actually stolen from day one. So when you think that you are better because you're second generation or third generation because you've been an American for a longer amount of time, I hope that you never have to experience a time where you have to flee a country for your own safety or that of your family. So when you think that you are somehow not going to be affected by any of this, when you think that you don't have to care, what happens if you are next? What happens if it's someone that you personally know? And I know already, because we've seen it. We've seen the clips of people that supported him, diehard supporters that are now crying on the news because their family members are getting deported and they thought that they would never be impacted. You see, in this country, so many people lack empathy. They are unwilling or somehow unable to think beyond themselves, and then we run into these situations. Wake up. The proximity to whiteness isn't serving you, and it's not serving the community. You have to recognize what is happening, because ultimately, they're not just going after criminals. And all of this is connected to so many things that impact our community and frankly are holding us back, like anti-blackness and colorism and internalized racism. And if you think that these are woke words, look them up and you will realize what exists, what has existed in our community for a very long time. And I say all of this because there are so many people that have fallen to the false prophets of the world, and I need us as a community to come together and wake up. So if you're wanting more of this type of content, follow for more, because we need to have this conversation.
So real quick, all my Latinos for Trump, people who I consider them my deep friends, you know, they all said that they were proud to have voted for Trump. They were all happy. They all said that he was going to make the change, the difference. He was going to bring jobs back to America. He was going to make us all rich. He was going to bring so many benefits to this country. And now, all I hear from my Latinos for Trump, crying, regretting their vote, and apologizing. That's all I hear from my Latinos for Trump. That's why I didn't vote for him neither on the first term or nor the second term. Because the only one who is winning right now is Donald Trump and his wealthy buddies. The millionaires, the billionaires, and the trillionaires. Now, my Latinos for Trump are crying, regretting, and apologizing the fact that they used to say, I am a Latino for Trump. And yet, Trump gave you the big... Yeah. That's all Trump gave you. The big F you. Thank you for your vote. But Latinos for Trump, F you. Yeah.
Originally from the Dominican Republic, Angel Castillo runs this restaurant now in a New Jersey county that's in the political spotlight. Castillo is now supporting the Republican nominee for governor, Jack Ciattarelli. But the larger story here is about President Trump. Castillo says he used to be a Democrat, and then in 2016...
I voted for Trump.
Okay.
That's the first time I ever voted for a Republican. So the way he spoke, I was like, man, this guy speaks just like everybody else. And the way he said he was going to do things, and I agree with him in most of the things.
Are you happy with how things are going so far in his administration?
Correct.
You are?
Yeah.
What do you like?
Well, I like everything. I like how he just trying to enforce the law.
Despite Castillo's vote, Hillary Clinton won Passaic in 2016, Joe Biden won in 2020, and Donald Trump flipped it in 2024.
Welcome back, guys. In one of the stitched videos, one creator spoke with deep emotion, telling Latino Trump voters, "You will never be white. You will never be exempt from the racism of this system." That line hit a nerve because it's not just about Trump or the GOP. It's about the illusion of proximity to whiteness, the belief that if you align yourself with power, you might be protected by it. But history and data keep proving otherwise. Let's ground these in some real numbers. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, there are roughly 65 million Latinos living in the U.S. That's nearly 20% of the entire population. Yet, despite being one of the country's largest ethnic groups, Latinos voters are not a political monolith. In 2020, about 38% of Latino voters supported Donald Trump, a jump from 2016, according to Pew Research Center. But since then, disillusionment has grown. A 2024 Equis Research survey found that many of those same voters now feel betrayed by policies that targeted immigrants, undermined labor protections, and worsened housing affordability, issues that hit Latino families hardest. It's not just regret over one candidate, it's the realization that they were never truly included in the system they helped empower. And here's where it gets deeper. The creator in the video said, "They are not just talking about illegal immigrants, they are talking about you." That's a brutal but factual statement. Because when politicians talk about closing the borders, protecting real Americans, or sending them back, the target often expands. It starts with undocumented migrants, then shifts to naturalized citizens, bilingual communities, or anyone who looks foreign. You can see it in state-level policy. For example, Texas Senate Bill 4, passed earlier this year, allows state police to arrest people suspected of being undocumented, not because of evidence, but because of suspicion. Civil rights groups have already warned that Latino citizens will inevitably be profiled and detained under that law. So, when the stage creator says they are talking about you, it's not hyperbole, it's an accurate reading of how racialized power operates. And this brings us to one of the most complex truths. Many Latinos internalize anti-blackness and colorism, ideas that were never ours but were taught to us as survival tools. Sociologists like Tanya Golaj-Boza and Eduardo Bonilla Silva have written for years about how Latin American societies imported white supremacist hierarchies and repackaged them through skin tone and class. Those same hierarchies followed us to the US, where good immigrant narratives rewarded assimilation and punished solidarity. So when some Latinos voters embrace Trump's rhetoric, thinking it might grant them a seat closer to the table, they weren't acting out of malice, they were acting out of conditioning. But now, as ICE enforcement expands again, as labor protections weaken, and as Latino majority towns face disinvestment, those same voters are realizing that you can't outvote racism. You can't assimilate your way out of structural exclusion. And here's the irony. Many of the Latino communities now feeling the sting of that betrayal were the same ones hit hardest by policies they voted to uphold, like cuts to healthcare access, food assistance, and public education. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, Latino families make up nearly 30% of the uninsured population in states that refuse to expand Medicaid. And those same states often voted red. That's not coincidence, that's consequence. But this isn't about shaming. It's about recognizing the cost of believing that aligning with whiteness is a pathway to belonging, because proximity to power is not protection, it's a temporary illusion. If you look back through history, this pattern repeats. Black conservatives in the Reconstruction era who believe their loyalty will be rewarded, Japanese Americans who fought for the U.S. only to be interned, Latino communities that sided with law and order politics only to watch those laws turn against them. Each time, the lesson is the same. Whiteness will always protect itself first. So what now? Maybe this moment, this public regret is the start of something else. A chance for honest reflection inside Latino communities about colorism, anti-blackness, and how political manipulation thrives when empathy dies. Because as the creator said, empathy is the missing piece. It's time we stop measuring worth by who we can exclude and start asking how we can protect one another. Because this system doesn't just go after them, eventually it comes for us all. To everyone watching, thank you for engaging with this space. Whether you agree or not, the fact that you are here thinking and reflecting means more than you know. And once again, deep respect to the originators and stages whose courage started this dialogue. You remind us that truth has power, especially when it's uncomfortable. Stay thoughtful, stay kind, and stay grounded. This is Echo Room Vibes, where we don't just react, we reflect. Sign out.